When did someone try to cheat you out of money you were owed? I worked construction for this contractor named Bill for 3 months last summer. Roofing job on a huge office building downtown. Backbreaking work in 100-degree heat, but the pay was supposed to be worth it. Bill promised everyone on the crew $25 an hour, paid every Friday, cash in hand, no delays. The job was supposed to take 12 weeks, and I was counting on that money to catch up on my mortgage after my wife lost her job. For the first month, everything was perfect. Bill showed up every Friday at exactly 4 p.m. with manila envelopes full of cash. Even bought the crew lunch on the hottest days. Told us we were the best workers he'd ever hired and he had more jobs lined up. The crew was 8 guys total. Me, my buddy Marcus from high school, and 6 other guys who'd worked with Bill before. They all said he was reliable, always paid on time, treated his workers right. But then things started getting weird. Week 5, Bill showed up looking stressed. Said the client was late paying him because of some paperwork issue, so our checks would be delayed until Monday. No big deal. Stuff happens in construction all the time. Monday came and went. No bill, no money. When I called his cell, he said the client's check bounced and he was working with the bank. Definitely Tuesday, then Wednesday, then Thursday. By Friday, he stopped answering his phone completely. I drove to his office that Thursday after work. Small building near the industrial district with his company name painted on the window. The secretary, this older woman who seemed nervous, said he was out of town dealing with another job site emergency. She promised he'd call me back within 24 hours. She had this look like she'd given that speech before. He never called. By week 6, the entire crew was getting desperate. We'd all worked 40 hours with no pay. Marcus had twin babies at home and his wife was freaking out about the mortgage. Another guy, Tommy, was 3 days away from eviction. That's when Bill showed up at the job site Friday morning with a completely new story. He said the building owner was claiming our work wasn't up to code. Some inspector found issues with the flashing around the vents. Until that got sorted out, nobody was getting paid for the previous 2 weeks, but he needed us to keep working to fix the problems. Said once the inspector signed off, we'd get paid for everything, including all the back pay we were owed. Most of the crew walked off that day. Marcus threw his hard hat in the dumpster and said he was done getting played. Tommy started crying right there on the roof, talking about losing his apartment, but I needed the money too badly to quit. 3 other guys stayed too. We figured if we left now, we'd definitely never see our money. At least if we stayed and fixed whatever was wrong, maybe we'd get paid eventually. For 2 more weeks, we worked for free. 10-hour days in brutal heat, redoing work that looked perfectly fine to us. Bill kept making excuses. The inspector was being difficult. The client was asking for additional changes. Just a few more days and everything would be resolved. Then on a Friday morning, I showed up to the job site and found it completely empty. No equipment, no materials, no bill. Just a chain link fence around the whole property and a sign from a different construction company. I called the building owner directly. Took me 3 phone calls to reach someone who knew what was going on. Turns out Bill had been fired 3 weeks earlier for substandard work and failing to pay his suppliers. The building owner had been paying a completely different contractor to tear out and redo everything we'd done. Bill had been collecting final payments from the owner while not paying us, then got fired but kept us working for free on a job that didn't even exist anymore. I was out $4,000 in wages. Filed complaints with the State Labor Board and the Better Business Bureau, but Bill had already disappeared. His office was cleaned out, phone disconnected, website down, completely gone. 6 months later, I'm at Home Depot on a Saturday morning buying supplies for a bathroom remodel when I hear this familiar voice in the paint section. There's Bill, same cocky smile, telling some contractor about this amazing crew he had lined up for a big commercial job. I walked right up to him while he was mid-sentence. Hey Bill, remember me? You still owe me $4,000? His face went completely white. Started stuttering about how that whole thing was just a big misunderstanding and he'd been trying to track everyone down. The contractor he was talking to asked what was going on. I explained the whole story, how Bill had scammed our entire crew out of weeks of pay. Turned out this contractor's cousin had worked for Bill in another city and gotten burned the exact same way. By the time I was done talking, word had spread to half the contractors and workers in the store. Bill tried to walk away, but people kept approaching him, asking questions about his business practices and whether he actually paid his workers. The store manager came over and politely asked Bill to leave the property. Said they'd heard similar complaints from other customers and didn't want him soliciting work there anymore. Within a week, Bill was blacklisted from every major supplier in town. Can't get materials, can't hire experienced crews, can't run his scams anymore. Last I heard, he left town completely. Never got my money back, but watching his reputation get destroyed in a Home Depot paint aisle felt like justice.